in the newspaper the other day that sectarian violence has never been worse. There are 4,000 Iraqi policemen dead in 2 years, 8,000 wounded, and it's just more of the same on Iraq. It's more of the same on the deficit. He said earlier in the campaign that the deficits aren't his concern. So I don't think people want to stay on this road of fiscal disaster, the problems we're having in Iraq. They want answers to these questions, and he never addressed the question of health care. We've got 8.3 million kids in this country with no health insurance. He has no answer, and the guy whose record or policies he rubber stamps has no answer for it.
Bob, was it testier than you expected?
It was about where I thought it would be. It's always a little different when you're that close, but no, I think it should be free-flowing like that. That's good. I think people expect that, and the distinguished panelists allow us to have some flexibility.
What do you make of the allegation that you're not running for office, that 2 days a week you're campaigning, that this is a light schedule?
Well, that's just a lie, and he knows it. Here's the difference in terms of campaign schedules. I have to work 5 times harder than he does to get the resources for this campaign. I spend a lot more time on it because I'm not backed by the oil companies and George Bush and Dick Cheney and big insurance and big pharma. He could take weeks off in the campaign and still raise $25 or $30 million. I have to work very hard for the number that we've got to raise to be successful and be competitive. I don't have friends like that. We have a great campaign around us, and people are focused on taking this country in a new direction, but I don't have the President of the United States and the Vice President raising millions of dollars for me. So I have to, by definition, I have to have a different kind of campaign schedule. I'd like to not have to do any fundraising. I'd like to travel the state and spend a lot more hours than we do. But I think the people in this state who are going to vote on Election Day are very focused now on the choice. And they know there's a contrast. It wasn't just played out today. Today might have been more dramatic, but the choice is very simple. It's more the same versus a new direction. He literally believes that everything is okay. He said it about the president. He said he's doing a terrific job. Absolutely. And I think that conveys a sense of satisfaction, if not perfection. I have a dramatically different point of view.
What's your plan for Iraq?
I started some of it today, didn't get all of it out. First thing we need in Iraq is some accountability. That means firing down Rumsfeld, finding out what happened to the 8 billion. And I'm not one who wants to abandon the mission. But point number 2 is we should transform the mission and make sure that American forces can pull back, even if they stay where they are in Iraq, right in Baghdad, that they can pull back and work on other things like training, let the Iraqi forces go out front. We need, thirdly, clear and measurable benchmarks. I talked about that today. We need a specific plan from the President and from Prime Minister al-Maliki about what they're going to do to disarm the militias, how they're going to get oil production above pre-war levels. That's number 3. Number 4 is it's a political solution that we're going to need in the end. Even military people will tell you that. We've got to have a contact group in the region. People in both parties have called for that. We need Mr. Bush to lead that. And number 5, we've got to rebuild the American military, because we can't invade and conquer and occupy every country where we think they're a terrorist. And unfortunately, Senator Santorum didn't agree with me on expanding the number of people in special forces. We should double that number. He doesn't agree with that. And by not agreeing with that, he's not committed to fighting the kind of war against terrorism all over the world, not just in Iraq. By some estimates, the number of special forces who are bogged down in Iraq now could be as high as 80%. That means they're not in other countries intercepting weapons and keeping us safe. So we have a big difference as well, not only on the approach to Iraq, which is to ask tough questions and get answers, but also on how to fight a real war against terrorism. Big difference.